Hello everybody, welcome back. Go ahead and get started here. So we're going to be doing ranked again tonight. Where did we end up last time? Let me get that up for everybody. I think we were like in the 40 zone or something. Oh. 65. Okay, even better. Yeah, we won a lot of games last time. Duoing with Sammy, who is a long-lost friend. Okay, let me reopen the chat here. That had... Hey, what's up, Brandon? What's up, Sniper? Excuse me. Might be getting a bit of a cold. My daughter got from her cousin. Maybe. We'll see. Hopefully I don't get it. My wife over the weekend was like, hey, you want to go eat some pizza over at my sister's house or whatever? And stuff. I was grading some essays anyway, so I was like, nah. And then she said, well, you know, Rory's cousin's been a little sick, but he hasn't had a fever since, you know, Wednesday or something. And I'm just like, if you get me sick, I'm not going to be happy. She went over there. Rory was acting like she might be a little sick today. We'll see. And then I started sneezing today. We'll see. It's going to be hell to pay if I get some kind of illness again. Little kids, man, just little cesspools of disease. I love her, but my God, the sanitation is a nightmare. Oh, let me see what we got going on here. Okay, that was from yesterday. What's ban Yee? But thanks everybody for tuning in. Oh, Yee's ban? Alright, we're gonna ban Kill then.
I see you lack judgment.
So thanks everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You know, especially if you come out here every night. I don't mention that enough, but I need to mention it at least a couple of times during the stream. Is, you know, I have the bot say it, but it's just not the same. I know a lot of people just listen to me like audio. Also, while they're going to sleep or something. Should have worn a flu mask. Well, I'd have to wear it all around the house. That's the thing. I didn't go over there. I mean, I could. I had to finish grading essays anyways. I slept too late in the day. Hey, what's up, Black Lily? But yeah, just a couple of clicks. It's really simple. It helps other people find the channel. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe. Let me do my research here. And, you know, as I always say, I know I release a lot of content. I release more than almost anybody else. You know, I think most days I have like 3 or 4 different videos come out. But, you know, you can always turn off the bell, the notifications, and most content creators will not tell you to do that. They'll say click that bell, but I get it. You know, if you're subscribed to a lot of channels, you don't want to get flooded with TSP stuff. It's fine, just unclick the bell and then you can just come by and just check it out whenever you want. It helps if you click the bell if you want those notifications, but I gotta get Yorick top. Yorick was not banned, but he decided to not play Yorick. This is going to be really annoying. I might end up dodging this. Oh, he got auto-filled mid, and then this guy's top. Okay. They're going to have Fiddlesticks, bot lane, so they're going to poke us down. I guess we'll play it. I'm not super excited about it. Like, the problem is, like, that creates such huge matchup problems. Anytime there's an AD assassin in the jungle, it's so hard to play an enchanter. And then Fiddlesticks is just going to poke us with his, you know, E spam the entire lane. Well, I mean, I don't know how long Void's been playing that, but yeah, the Klepto is what I've recommended from like the moment that I saw her rework. It's Klepto and then I think Blather and King Gensu's. That's what Freak also thinks, but that's what I was recommending once again. Like, as soon as that champion got reworked, patch and a half ago now, I've been recommending Klepto plus Gensu's and Blather and King. It's also like, it's also possible, you know, a lot of people like Nashers just because it does have the CDR, it does have the AP, it helps you out early on. But I think that Gensu's has to be your second item. What's up, Christine? I don't know about Frozen Mallet. I mean, it does give you a slow, like a permanent slow. So if you're against something that could run away from you, that could be good. Yeah, I haven't tried Frozen Mallet, so that could be the Void Boy tech there. The Boy Genius. Annie's pretty good in Ahri. Anything that has like a stun plus burst damage in Ahri is really good. She picked Ahri into Annie. I don't particularly like our matchups though. I don't even know. Like maybe I probably should have dodged this. Thing is, like, Wukong scales really well if he gets to the late game. I think your third item doesn't matter as much as long as you have Gensu's plus Nashers or Blather and King plus Gensu's. The third are just kind of like utility items. Morg's okay. I still just like her as a counter pick. I tried blind picking her a couple times a few days ago, and it just feels bad in a lot of situations. Like, she's very good if they have, like, a hard engaged team. But if they outscale you, you know, or if they have just a lot of, like, AD damage, it feels bad. Oh, that silence, though, stopped me from E and M. Such a pain in the ass. I really wish you... Why would you not go Doran's Shield against Fiddle? That's, like, automatic. If you're 80 carry and you're against Fiddle, you have to go Doran's Shield. So he's just going to spam that crap on you the entire time. I just have to try to get him to use it on me, but he's not going to. He's just going to keep using it on her. And I can't play Sona or Nami because they have Rengar. Like, AD Assassins just, like... just ruin my day, man. I can't hit these because I'll take it, and I need the charge for the cannon wave. I can't really engage on him. I think I'm too low. Oh my god, that bounce for real? I think we can beat him later on, but... Thoughts on Fiddle support? He's okay. He's extremely gankable. But if you're ahead, he feels good. If you can get really good vision control. But if you fall behind and you lose control of vision, it can feel really bad. Oh, it just, a lot of it, it's very jungler dependent. That's what I think anyways. Please, he dies, right? There's no way he actually gets out of this. He gets out of it. And that's a double kill. I probably should have dodged. I hate Lee so much. There's just so many things I don't like about this. Like, we're going to lose bot hard. Like, I didn't expect this hard, but, like, Fiddle into a tank just feels awful. Like, you really needed a Chanter to deal with him early on, especially when your 80 carry doesn't take Doran's Shield and isn't going to get a Vamp Scepter early. So like basically a non-sustained 80 carry with a non-sustained support against Fiddlesticks with 0 jungle pressure. It just feels terrible. So this matchup's bad. And then Wukong into Sylas. I don't know like what's up with that for sure, but it seems bad. And he has 4 CS. 4 CS right now. So yeah, that's That's going much, much worse than I thought it would be, but I figured that'd be a losing matchup too, and so I should have just dodged it. Like, we do scale if Wu gets ahead. Like, Kaisa scales pretty well, but I should have just dodged it. There's too many bad things going on here. Oh my god, the quadra bounce. And Rengars are just, in general, like, they're good against enchanters, but they're almost like always one-trick champs too. Okay, and he got a couple of kills, that's good. But they're almost always one-trick champ, or one-trick players, and so they're usually very good at the champ. No, Bard is not a good option if you're going to be pushed in all game. You need to have lane priority if you're going to play Bard. And there's no way with Bard Kaisa we would outpush Trist and Fiddle. Like, Fiddle pushes the wave really hard with his E, and then Trist pushes really hard with her explosive shot. That's one of the hardest pushing lanes outside of something like Sivir, maybe Caitlyn, like that type of thing. But Kaisa's not going to keep up with that. I'm gonna miss it. Are we down like 30 CS or we're down 20? So they're gonna have our tower down with all the plates at like 9 minutes. Dude, just back. Like, what's the point in standing there? I mean, I guess you're getting experience, but like, if you're not even gonna try to walk up and like CS anything, like, she just sat here for like 4 waves and didn't get a single CS, and just stood there and watched because she didn't want to back. Well, first tower down, 7 minutes. Like, they're just literally in the tower the whole game. We can't do anything. I should have just dodged. I honestly hate having Kaisas on my team lately too. It just always feel terrible. I don't know why. Like, cause she was so good for so long. She was like pick ban, but I'm gonna type, like, do you have to ask? Like, do you have to tell the jungler where to be? They're, like, literally in our tower as an immobile champ like Fiddlesticks for, like, 7 minutes straight without any wards. Like, do you have to be told, hey, like, maybe you should go gank that? Like, you know, if you want to let the first tower fall in 7 minutes, I mean, it's not all Lee's fault, but... like, I don't know. I should have just dodged. It's a terrible matchup. Yeah, I've tried Unsealed Spellbook on a lot of different champs. It's okay. Like, you can't do anything in the laning phase, but you get some power later on. Depends on the champ, but... Yeah, it definitely would not have helped here. It's basically like if you're okay with like losing pressure in the laning phase. This is so dumb. I mean, we don't know 100% that Meat and Bunny is dead, I don't think. But, yeah, he wasn't in a good situation. He may have just had a, you know, long recuperation or something. He did like the channel a lot, though, so... Yeah, he was a nice dude. I really liked him. I hope that it's something like that where he just doesn't play League anymore. But... I don't know if they're 95%. I don't think it's 95% decided by jungler, but as I've said a lot, I mean, jungler has a huge influence. I think the jungler is one of the most influential roles for sure. I mean, AD carry, like, can be important, you know. The thing is, I feel like we win more games where the AD carry is bad than almost any other role. I don't know if I needed ult, but I thought he might flash, so.
Your turret has been destroyed.
No, I don't contact people, man. Like, they contact me. If they want to be on the channel, they'll be on the channel.
Do you hear them calling?
Dude, Wukong, there are 3 people right there, buddy. I have seen AD carries, like, run the show. Like, AD carries can be very strong. I'm just saying that, like, one side of that issue is I see AD carries get carried more. It could be that, I don't know. I think AD carry is a very strong role right now, but
An ally has been slain.
I mean, it feels like part of it is like you can get away with being a little weaker as an AD carry, which is part of its strength too. It's like you can have a bad start and still be relevant later. Got the flash. So that is a form of strength, but it feels like if you're a bad jungler, like, it's hard to carry a bad jungler, especially if they don't pick something that scales. I mean, that's probably part of it too, is like most of the best junglers, like, are really like early game tempo junglers where you need to get ahead early, with the exception of like maybe Kindred or like Master Yi. Like, there are a couple of scalers out there, for sure, but I feel like a lot of them, like, you have to be a risk taker, you have to get ahead early and do really well. And top lane is the same thing, it feels like, where a lot of the best top laners are champions where you need to take high risks. And it's like, if you fall behind early, then you're worthless. That's probably why it feels like, you know, games are like, because jungle and top are both so like swingy, you know, they're both so unstable. Like, they can be extremely good if they get ahead, or they can be very bad with no utility if they fall behind. So that's I think that's part of what contributes to the feeling of like those two roles seeming to decide the game a lot. And then stuff like Sona is just not very flashy in general. Oh god. Really? Doesn't even hit her charm on me. Yeah, I shouldn't have queued that. Yeah, but then you'll have people like Toos come in here and say stuff like jungle is unplayable. You know, it's a terrible role. It's no good anymore. I'm like, dude, it was really overpowered in the preseason, but it still matters a lot. But I think that a lot of it just has to do with the kind of jungler, like, and you need to get ahead early. So that can be good and that can be bad. It can be bad in the sense that, like, if you're playing a jungler and you can't get ahead, like if your lanes just suck. Oh, no, I can't go into that. I thought about it. Disjointed, right? Rengar's not even here. You can't play anything that's aggressive against a Rengar jungle, though, with a Kai'Sa. Like, I play aggressive stuff all the time in top lane. I play Sona and Nami, but you just can't do that. Like, Rengar just, like, these assassins in the jungle just, like, break the meta. I mean, maybe I should just try it and just go barrier anyways. But they just had way better matchups. Like, Kai'Sa doesn't do a lot early. So I can't really play something like Leona or Thresh or whatever because Fiddle can just fear you, and Tristana's better early than Kai'Sa is. And you need push. A lot of those all-in champs don't have a lot of wave clear. So
Your turret has been destroyed.
I can't go something like Zyra or Brand because they have Ahri and Rengar. So it's just like really terrible matchups. It is about skill. I think jungle is definitely a lot of skill. You see that all the time. Like, look at this 0-5 Lee versus like an actual good Lee. Yeah, this game should 100% been a dodge. I had a feeling that it probably should. I was like, the thing that got me to stay is I was like, well, if Wukong gets ahead, I don't know that matchup versus Sylas, but Sylas is usually squishy. So if Wukong gets ahead, and if we can just go down like 10 CS bot lane, we've got a Lee. He's going to have early pressure on Rengar. Rengar really can't do a lot pre-6. Like, I was talking myself into it, but like theirs is just a much more reliable comp, you know. With a tempo jungler like Lee, if he doesn't get ahead early, he's just completely worthless. Oh, just in general, yeah. I mean, yeah, you know, you want to be able to, you know, you want to be able to influence the lane. But, you know, I'm still, it just depends, though. Like, sometimes scaling just depends on the situation. Because, like, Rakan has been very strong in the preseason, and for most of last season, he's terrible in lane. And then the same was true of Janna for a long time.
Shut down.
But, yeah, it feels like right now, you know, having a large influence in the lane is definitely a good thing.
Enemy double kill.
I want to tell this guy he had 4 CS at 5 minutes into the game. But there's no point. I might have him in my games again. I don't want him to sabotage my games for telling him the truth. Like, bro, everybody sucked this game, man. Like, It was just bad. If I like 100% had to like blame one person more than other people, yeah, it'd be Lee. But like everybody was really bad this game, so you know, myself included, I've made some mistakes too. Although to be fair, I don't think I really even got to play the game. Like I was always on the defensive, but. Yeah, but that's like the best person in the world at Soraka, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Like, you can't take exceptions and take them for a rule. I've been saying this for years and years. Like, you can't have someone who is, like, a challenger level player saying they can get X champion to, like, X bizarre champion to gold and then say, well, if he can do it, anyone can do it. It's like, it's a false analogy because, yes, they're both people, but they're not both like the same person, you know? Oh, hell yeah, people in Plat are toxic. I mean, a lot of people say that Plat is the most toxic elo. I've talked about this before. Because Plat's not respected at all. Hardly. That's the thing. No, champ choice definitely matters. It's super obvious from statistics. Like, that alone, aside from just all the reasoning and all the balancing and all of that, I know we've been having this debate for years, but like it matters. You know, if you look in the jungle, like for example, Soraka's not even on that list, but if you look at the jungle, even if we go all the way down to like Iron, right? We look at win rate. In the jungle, like there's going to be a huge difference in something like Jax or Vi or Master Yi and like Nidalee for the most part in the jungle. Like, yeah, Challenger Nidalees can do very well if they get in the jungle, or like Jungle Ornn or Jungle, you know, what, Jungle Riven or whatever. Like, champ choice, like, definitely matters, or all statistics would be 50%. Like, I think that's the easiest like argument to possibly make. If it didn't matter, it would be 50%. So yeah, can there be exceptions of people? Can you have challengers that play Soraka jungle and do an iron to gold game? Sure. But I mean, they both matter. That's the it's like mechanics matter, game knowledge matters, and champion select matters. People say champion select in bronze and iron doesn't matter, and that's because it's people that aren't in bronze and iron that are espousing those ideas on YouTube. It's like diamond and challenger level people saying, oh yeah, I could go in there and win with anything. It's like, yeah, but you're not actually iron or bronze. If you're an actual iron 4 person playing an actual iron 4 and you've never been higher than iron 4, you can't win with anything, clearly, because you're stuck in iron 4. So like, you know, that it does matter when you're like that. You know, the analogy that I've used a million different times is, yeah, you could take an NBA player, you know, throw him in a middle school game or like a JV high school game, and, you know, could they win a game without playing with shoes? Could they win a game only playing with their right hand, or, you know, shooting all like half-court shots? Could they play defense with no hands, just their body? It's like, yeah, of course they could, because they're dramatically better than everyone in that bracket. They can give themselves all these weird handicaps. And it's the same thing with League. Could a challenger do all kinds of crazy stuff to handicap themselves? Sure. You know, you could probably have a challenger player that comes in and wins a game of League that's playing bot lane 80 carry without a single CS. Like, you could probably tell Doublelift, hey, go down into Iron. I want you to win a game without getting a single CS. He could probably do it. He would just stop the enemy from getting CS and just kill them constantly. What's up, Daniel? So, you know, once again, it doesn't mean that you always have to play, like, the absolute best, highest win rate champion, you know, all the time.
Doubt is the greatest enemy.
You know, in order to climb, but it means that it does matter, you know. You don't have to take that to the extreme, but it definitely does. Yeah, can some people do it? Sure, they can. But, like, once again, can Bill Gates drop out of college and become a billionaire opening a computer business in his garage? Yeah, he can. But should most people do that? No, they shouldn't. I mean, it's like there are, like, people who, you know, do things that are extraordinary, that go against the grain, that go against the norm, and really succeed. Really have outsized results. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to recommend it, and no other person who's making a serious, like, tier list type of thing is going to say that. Say, yeah, you know what? You want to play Volibear ADC? Go for it, man. You have just as high of a chance as, like, playing Vayne right now. I mean, maybe, if we're making it relative, like, mechanics matter more than champ choice, maybe, but, like, why not both? You know what I mean? Just do Sona. Like, why not both? I mean, that's always my thing when people are like, you know, does comfort pick matter or does meta matter? You know, do mechanics matter or does champ matter? And the answer is both, like all of the above. It's like, you know, and, you know, as I always say too, like, it's your game, you know. If you want to, aside from the ethics, I take the ethics kind of seriously, where it's like I don't want to ruin the experience for my team and rank, so I try not to play very often things that I don't think give us a good chance to win. But aside from that, it's your game, you know. If someone wants to play something crazy, you know, off meta type of stuff, okay, that's fine. But, like, the thing is, that person can't also complain that they can't climb. That's my thing. You know, if you're playing Volibear 80 carry every game and you're happy with your 25% win rate, sure, you know, keep playing it, man. You know, you do you. It's, for most people, it's a game at the end of the day. Not for everybody, it's a game. For pro players, it's not. For content creators who, you know, get a decent amount of their living from it, it's not a game. But that's like, my issue is when people try to complain and blame other stuff other than their champion pick when they're picking something that clearly is very far off meta. That's the that's my issue. It's like, okay, if you want to play something that's like handicapping yourself and you're cool with losing, but you're just having fun, all right. But you can't say, like, you know, I play Volibear support every game, but I can't get higher than Silver 4 and I've only got a 40% win rate because all my teammates are idiots. Like, you can't say that because you're part of the problem. Like, you're handicapping yourself by playing things like that.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
I mean, that, yeah. Like, I see what you're saying, Dedicated, and I can see that to a point where, you know, if people were thinking that all you have to do is just pick the right champion and pick the right build and you win, and don't learn, like, you're going to stick your head in the sand about, like, macro and stuff like that, I agree with that. People need to learn all of it. You know, just picking the right champion isn't magically going to make you win every game. So I agree with that point. I just, if that logic is leading down the road of play whatever champion you want and just get really good at mechanics, I think that's also a dangerous way of thinking. I think you got to find a middle ground there where you're playing, if you're intending to win, then you're trying to learn stuff that's respectable, but you're also trying to learn like macro and other game type of stuff. I feel really unsafe walking through this jungle. Okay, they're up top. I mean, that's a true argument too, but once again, you can have fun, in theory, playing something that's good. Hey, what's up, Taylor? So, I mean, we've had this discussion a million different times. I think that champ select matters. I mean, mechanics matter, macro matters, but if you're really serious about climbing, you know, you need to play something within the realm of respectability. How do I decide Sona or Nami? Nami is if they have a more dangerous comp. So if they have like an assassin or a diver. Sona's more late game. But she does have a pretty good early game harass too. I mean, Nami would have been fine here too. I just wanted to match the Janna because Janna tends to stall fights out and have longer fights. And Sona's better in longer fights. I think it's, I mean, League is like closer to a sport than a game, honestly. Like, I think it's different than Minecraft. I think that esport is kind of like a disingenuous word, but it's something that's like more competitive. It's closer to a sport than it is a game. I think the term video game is pretty outdated. I think interactive media is probably more accurate. Someone's asking something else up here. How do I decide between... Is Hecarim top viable? Possibly. I haven't studied it enough. I know that it certainly got stronger with the buffs to Hecarim. I know that Licorice used it as a counter pick against Aatrox, but he plays all kinds of weird stuff. So I don't know. I'd have to think. I don't know the matchups well enough that he would be involved in. Like, top is very matchup dependent. I wish Vayne would, like, at least auto-attack once. Because, like, Sona's heal is really inefficient if it just heals one person. So... Come on, dude. At least auto-attack her once. Like, she hasn't auto-attacked literally once. It's like, we have a heal. They don't. But I'm out of mana now. Like, we're giving this Janna a free laning phase. Like, Janna is one of the weakest champs in the game, especially after her nerf. And they're pushing us in the tower, which really shouldn't happen. I should have probably typed to her and said, be aggressive. Like, the whole thing with, like, fun, like, game and playing it for fun is that, like, it's not a single-player game, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where the crux is. And it's, like, it is fun to play, but you're also playing it with other people. That's why it's, like, more like a sport than something like, you know, Minecraft, right? Where you're just playing by yourself. And if you want to do something weird, okay, you know. But you're kind of ruining the experience for other people. And it's like, it's not fun for other people a lot of times if you're playing something really wacky and it's like making it very difficult for your team to win. So I don't think, you know, as I always say, I don't think you have to do exactly what your team wants all the time, but I think it's nice to be considerate, to say, I'm playing ranked, people probably want to try to win. Maybe I shouldn't play Master Yi support, you know? Minecraft is multiplayer. I mean, whatever it is, it's like a very casual, non-competitive game these days. Witcher, you know, something like that. Some kind of single-player game. So I think that's what's different, is it's like, at least I try to consider other people too. I mean...
Killing spree. Shut down.
Well, at least he recognizes that he screwed up. I mean, we're basically giving, like, Janna and Kaisa a free laning phase. Like, Janna's similar in teamfight capabilities to Sona. I don't think she's quite as strong, but, like, Kaisa's in the same ballpark as Vayne. I mean, I guess it's, at least it's not a Caitlyn that's just power farming. Yeah, that's just how I see it. I know not everyone shares my you know, opinion on that, but yeah, it is a game. It is, you know, for fun, but you're also sharing the experience with other people. Especially if you're going to complain about not winning or try to blame other people, you know, then it's like definitely you should look at yourself, and part of yourself is what you're picking. Yeah, maybe if I ignited that faster, we could have done something with it, but she just caught me off. I think she got like a full Q on me, or I don't know. Something bursted me really hard. I haven't really followed Overwatch that much. I've talked about Overwatch. I think it's a structural issue where they need pick ban, or at least like a pick phase where it's not the same champions over and over and over again. I think that's one of the biggest structural problems with that game, is the meta can get stale pretty quickly, from what I saw. Now, I haven't really followed it that closely in a while, but it is also a bit harder to follow what's going on because it's like from first person. Getting fed. I mean, Echo is super, Silas is super fed too, but he went Gunblade, which seems bizarre as hell to me, but... Yeah, the Ignite probably would have helped. The thing is, I flashed out before I ignited. I wasn't sure if, like... That's fine. Yeah, we got them low enough where they can't really pressure. Nice. I mean, maybe Gunblade's the new hotness. I don't know. Sylas is the type of champ where you can build almost anything on him, just about, and like somehow make it work. Play any champs that aren't support in support. I don't know what you mean by that. For a donation, are you saying do I play bad things in support? I mean, yeah, sometimes. But I mean, I've played a pretty good, like, it depends on if you mean like Zyra, you know, because I've played Zyra a lot. But yeah, it just depends on what, like, what your definition of a support is. I played Nautilus a good chunk, and most people don't play him as support. So it just depends on how you're defining that. If you're saying, do I play non-meta support? Sometimes. But I don't care if it's meta or not. I just try to pick what I think is best. I'm going to give my team the best chance to win. So sometimes that's a weird pick, sometimes it's not. Usually it's not, but sometimes it is. Depends on the meta. I was playing a lot of Recon last fall and last and into the preseason, and he had like a 48% win rate, so a lot of people weren't playing Recon. And I played Nautilus, and he's never really been that popular as support. I play Zyra when she's off meta sometimes. It just depends. Yeah, I just never seen Gunblade on him. I mean, I know it's a really good item. It's just very expensive, but like maybe that's the new thing. It's almost bad. Holy what? I mean, it's good. We got a lot of stuff, but my God, you really have to give 3 kills to LeBlanc? It's so bad. That's like the one champion on their team that actually threatens me in the late game. Hey, Taylor. Do I think it's harder to climb a support than others? No, I don't think so. Not if you actually play, like, good champs. I think one of the dangerous things about support is that sometimes people feel like you can just do whatever you want and play, you know, and just get... Because I see, like, more off-meta weird stuff as support than almost any other role.
An enemy has been slain.
So there's this common conception, like, misconception, I would say, that you can just, like, you know, just slap some wards on it and it's a support, you know? So yeah, I mean, But if you play like actual good, strong meta supports and you get good on them, then I don't think it's that much harder to climb now. I mean, the win rates on champions, like some of the top supports like Sona and Nami, are some of the highest win rates of any champion right now, just statistically. And like vision matters a lot. Like shot calling, macro, and vision matter a ton. Yeah, we're losing a lot of CS there, which sucks, but... Okay, Solid's gonna get it this time. This champion is so freaking obnoxious. Yeah, Volibear had like 50 people beating on him, and he doesn't have any armor. He's going greedy for the Spirit Visage. They probably have Flash. I have ult. Yeah, I don't think it's harder to climb. If you're doing it the right way, I think you have to shot call more, and you have to be more aware of, like, vision control. Like, you have to know higher order stuff to really excel with support. Like, the mechanics probably aren't as hard to support as they are at other roles. You don't have to know specific matchups as well. But I do think that you have to really understand macro and vision control really well. Why doesn't League change the map or make different maps? The argument they've used is that football never changes their map, like soccer never changes their map. So they want it to be an esport like that. They think that it's better for balance-wise and consistency if they keep the map the same, but then adjust the champions. They do change some things about the map, like they added Scuttle, they changed Dragons, they've added Rift Herald. So they changed some stuff. But by and large, you know, their argument is that if they had a bunch of different maps, it would create a bunch more elements to have to balance around, and that would ultimately like deter from the overall experience. So like multiple maps and all that stuff is like good for like a more casual type of player base. I think that's why they do things like the rotating game mode, and they have Twisted Tree Line and stuff like that for fun. It's already so hard to balance the champs. If you think about, you have to balance from Iron 4 all the way up to the best Korean player on every champion. And there's like 150 champions. And not only just individual champions, but how well they work in different team comps, how well they work with different items and different runes. And like, are you going to nerf the rune? Are you going to nerf the champion? Are you going to nerf the item? Are you going to nerf the champion that works really good with that champion? Like, there's so many different variables that, I kind of wish that they would change maps, but at the same time, it'd be so difficult to balance around that. Because the map can have a huge influence on, like, which champions are really strong. So, for instance, if they made, like, a map with more water or something in it, or more jungle, then junglers could be stronger, and they'd have to balance around the jungle map and the normal map and pro play and Iron 4 play. I don't think it's a stupid argument. I think it makes sense. I think League just has too many variables to balance around it. Like StarCraft, certain maps are very imbalanced towards certain races. You know, like certain maps heavily favor Protoss or Zerg, and those are only like basically 3 variables. You have Zerg, Protoss, and Terran. And it's already really hard to balance like multiplayer maps for that. Just gonna flash it or something? I mean, the thing is gone. Okay. No, it matters a lot, guys. I mean, just think about this. Look at how much people freaked out and lost their mind because they added Scuttle Crab to the normal map. Like, it's a contestable objective, but there are some people yelling that, like, League of Legends died when they added Scuttle. I know people, like, complain about all kinds of things, but a lot of high-level players were saying that completely changed the tactics, it completely changed the meta.
Shut down.
It made early junglers so much stronger, and where you had to play an early jungler, it destroyed tanks in the jungle because they can't contest Scuttle. And all they did was add 1 extra crab that's neutral that people can fight for. Like, that's all they added, and it, like, completely changed the metagame. Maybe not as much as people were saying when they were complaining, but it was still a lot.
An enemy has been slain.
Off of that one little change. And Scuttle's only worth, like, what a normal camp is worth. People were saying when they added blast plants and fruit and stuff like that, that's it. Game's done. I mean, that's why they do for fun maps. Like, they've done stuff like, they used to have Dominion, they used to have, whatever else, the Star Guardian one. I mean, I feel you guys. Like, I think it would be cool to have multiple maps. I'm just telling you from a game design perspective, if you want, like, better balancing outcomes, then you don't want multiple maps in pro play. Because it really does make a huge difference on a game that is as studied and as, like, professionalized as League of Legends is. It makes a huge... The smallest of things can make a huge difference in this game. Because it's under such a microscope. Well, people did overreact, but it did change the meta a lot. Like, the Scuttle, like, we haven't really seen a tank meta since Scuttle came out. Well, it's not the only reason, but it's one reason among many. And it's a pretty big one.
Has been slain.
Map skins would be cool. I'd be down with some map skins. Like, if you could get the beach party skin or just something to change up the scenery, I'd be cool with that. But, like, the tactical, like, structures and stuff. I mean, there are some people that say, like, whichever dragon spawns first can dramatically influence how you should play. There was an interview on, I think it was Hotline League with an arrow. I believe it was Hotline League with an arrow. It might have been, actually, it was the dive, I think, with an arrow. Dude, they're all going to be here, man. The dive with an arrow, where he was saying that he wishes they would disclose which dragon was going to be the first dragon up, because that could dramatically influence how they draft. Like, they would pick an early game comp if they knew it was going to be, like, Infernal or Water Dragon. Yeah, I mean, I just used the SC2. Like, the StarCraft's not League because there are 3 variables. Basically, there's Zerg, Terran, and Protoss. Now, there are different units within each one that you have to balance around, sure. But, like, there's only 3 choices someone can make at the beginning. In League, there's over 150 champions. and different combinations of champions. It's not just 150 individual champions. Like, think of how many different permutations there are. Why are we just chain feeding? Okay, well, we might get top. Hopefully. He should be able to knock it out. Yeah, I'm gonna say not worth. I mean, there's nothing else they're gonna get after they kill Silas. Maybe he kills someone with him, but... Like, I would like it. I'm just telling you guys from a design perspective, their answer has been that it's too complicated to balance.
An enemy has been slain.
John here. I haven't... Wait. Didn't John just say something a second ago, or was that somebody else? No, but it's not just based on how people react. Like, people were overreacting to Scuttle and things like that, but it does... Like, that stuff does matter at the highest level. There's just too many variables. League's already so hard to balance. There's already, like, at any given time, like, 20 really problematic champions just on one map. Just because of the nature of how many variables there are. Yeah, but just because something can't be 100% balanced doesn't mean you should do something that actively, like, creates even more imbalances. It's like saying, well, people are going to break laws, so we might as well not even have any laws, you know? Like, you can still try to create states where the game is more balanced than imbalanced, or is more... enjoyable. I think perfect balance is not like an ideal, like, Jesus Christ. I can't believe they got that. Fucking annoying. They just beeline straight for it instead of dragging. Pop your ult. Slow him down. Oh, he already did? If we just kill Kai'Sa, it's just going to be really hard to kill Kai'Sa. Because they have Janna protecting her. Well, they were running. I thought maybe, you know... I don't know. It was kind of dumb to chase that for sure. It was actually pretty close, though. Like, if we won that, we could have closed out the game. Versus if we beat them, like, near their tower. Wait. It doesn't speed you up if you run away, dude. What? Like, clearly you don't know that because you pressed it while you were running away. So, like, I don't know, bro. It's like, shut up, man. I know it. It's like, no, you clearly don't. Or you just panicked and pressed all your buttons. Either way, don't do that.
The enemy's inhibitors respawn.
I mean, I didn't say anything mean. I just said that's how the item works. I didn't say, hey, idiot, don't press righteous when you're running away, man. It depends, Vaughn, on the person. The common wisdom is that if you're on some kind of loss streak, you should take a break. If you're winning, you should probably keep going. But it just depends on your level of, like, mental fatigue. It's different for every person. Dude. Well, no one's here. Vayne just backed. Oh, I didn't realize he already had it. Oh, that was my pain. Yeah, it's still down. Good ults. I guess he can take Darius's ult and get resets to Silas. Help, 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 help. Everyone's just like effing around. We're getting like blue buff. We're backing. Like, oh, they have full control. Well. So dumb.
Has destroyed a turret. Killing spree.
LeBlanc's gonna be here. Yeah, she's gonna be right there guarding. Oh, he stole it, but we're gonna die for it.
Shut down.
We're probably gonna lose. Most of this is because we gave LeBlanc 3 kills. Like, randomly dive in the base. Earlier. We had the game under full control. I mean, we lost that because they got overconfident, cocky, dove the base, gave LeBlanc 3 kills, completely killed our momentum, and then just nobody grouped for Baron. Like, we gave them the first Baron off of a stupid macro call, which I shouldn't have gone along with. And then, like, the next Baron's like, we're sitting there pinging it. I can't go get vision by myself. They went in there, swept it all out with LeBlanc. They had full, like, bush control. Because no one wanted to rotate over there. We had, like, Silas going down bottom for a blue buff when he's, like, 6-item Silas. Rengar randomly takes a back, like, right before. No, we gave it to him, Jolty. They dove like a tower in the base. She was 3-3. She doesn't just magically appear with 6 kills. And then we just got caught out, like, over pushing bot, like, 3 free kills. See you, John. Hey, Daniel. We'll be on for a little bit. I do have to grade a lot of papers tonight, so this, you know, we might only stream for, like, maybe 3 or 3.5 hours. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, that game is rough. Like, I was trying. That's just one of those games where you just shot calling the stuff. We should have. We should not have gone for the dragon. They ran straight for Baron. That one play when we had their inhibitor down. We needed to get pressure in mid lane first, get vision of them, and then rotate for dragon. So that was, you know, it was partially my fault for not shot calling that. We just went straight for a dragon instead. But yeah, I mean, we gave Kai'Sa a free laning phase, pretty much. Kai'Sa Janna, we should have dumpstered him and been up like 20, 30 CS. But Vayne, I don't think auto-attacked a single time before the all-in at like level 6 or 7. So that was like strike 1. Strike 2 is giving LeBlanc 3 kills. And then strike 3 was 3 and 4. We're giving him that free Baron by not pressuring lanes up before we rotated. And then not getting vision control like 30 seconds before Baron showed up. Like, we saw them going over there for it. And people are like randomly backing and, you know, going for blue buffs and stuff like that. A viable support that can 1v9. You don't really want to like think of it like that. You don't need to be playing support if you want to 1v9.
Doubt is the greatest enemy.
I mean, like, high damage, sure. Like, Brand, Zyra, Pyke, potentially. I mean, Sona can, too. It's in ways that you wouldn't expect, but, like, 1v9 is... I mean, you're just going to lose. Like, if your team is literally that awful, where you can't carry 4 people. Who were the duo? I think it was... I don't remember. It was probably the Rengar and the Silas. The people who are trying to split push instead of protect Baron. They're asking which champs carry hardest top. I mean, it depends on, like, a lot of things. Probably Vlad, just in the darkness, but...
I decide what the tide will bring.
Possibly Riven. But Riven can add some really bad matchups too. Like, yeah, if you're like, you know, a challenger level Riven or Irelia, sure. Yeah, I mean, the best tops are just going to be the fighters. You know, your Riven, your Irelia, Camille, Fiora. And then Vlad also, just because he's pretty OP in general. What is it? Is support Vel'Koz? I guess we'll play it. Everyone's on their good champ. Except for the Zac guy. What's up, Felipe? Not ready for the slows. Hey, thanks FLG. Hey, no problem, man. I don't care if you you want to advertise your stream. No big deal. Yeah, people, if you want to, drop by Flig. Why don't I play any Sona? I literally played Sona last game. Like, actual, literal last game, I played Sona.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
I mean, obviously you just tuned in, but I've been playing a decent amount of Sona and Nami.
Minions have spawned.
Oh, it's all good, man, dude. I don't care. Like, you got your stream, I got my stream. I didn't even advertise it. I'm not more important just because I might have more views or something. I mean, you're not advertising it, you know, on my stream. You're advertising it in the client, so it's not a big deal. It's fine. Yeah, good luck, sir. Hopefully we get this. Hey, what's up, Carlos? I'm new. Is it because you like them, or is it a meta thing? Which thing? Enchanters? Enchanters are the highest win rate supports by a long shot. It's like 4 of the top 5 supports or something are all enchanters. It's like Nami, Sona, Soraka, and I don't remember who the 4th one was. But those 3 are like really strong. I've got a whole video on it. If you want to watch my tier list, I explain why on the channel. It's basically they just scale really hard. They apply a lot of good early game pressure. They outscale the tanks. And they're just really good at Fiestas. Like, you don't need as much coordination with them. Especially Nami is very good at Fiestas. But, I mean, a lot of it's they apply a ton of early game pressure and they scale really well, which is a great combination. Because they're ranged, they scale really well with Fairy Charms. That means they can spam a lot of their abilities early, and they have a heal. So if you take bad trades, you know, you can sustain through them. If your AD carry just sits there and, like, AFKs and, like, watches you farm, you can still, like, harass. Like that Vayne a couple of times ago. We at least kept the CS kind of even. But they are susceptible to assassins. So that's why that LeBlanc getting fed last time was really, really bad. So if the enemy has like a Rengar in the jungle or, you know, a LeBlanc or a Cassidon or something like that, it can be a problem. But a lot of it's they slowed down the damage a lot in the game too. They nerfed Ignite, they nerfed Dark Harvest, they nerfed Electrocute. They nerfed Zyra, they nerfed Brand. Like, they've nerfed a lot of the early game damage, so it's hard to pressure them as much in lane as you used to. You can still do it with things like Leona, but they also rebuffed the Forbidden Idol items probably like 6 patches ago in the preseason. So it gives them the full 10% CDR off of Forbidden Idol, which is a really, really big deal early on. Like makes the items like 25% more efficient. I haven't really been tracking the enemy jungler very well. Still getting out farmed hard, even though I'm the one applying most of the pressure. I try to make her lose this if we can. Oh, that's bad. Power hit off of that. I think she still got it anyways. But they don't have a heal and we do. Okay, Sejuani's top. So we can keep pressuring. Cannon dodge the ganks, that's good. Ashe is pretty tough to harass because of her her spread shot, whatever, her W. And she just has like 600 range. So it's hard to deny her CS. Especially, I mean, Vel'Koz is really frustrating too. I mean, that's not like a really easy lane. They have a very good poke lane. Well, Pro is very different. Check out the newest tier list as well. I'll plug that as I spend like 10 or 15 minutes talking about why solo queue enchanters are better and why pro tanks are better. A lot of it has to do with the economy, the pro economy, and how they make no gold. So scaling doesn't matter in pro because you're never going to get the gold to scale anyways. And tanks just have better, way better base stats. So you get a lot of extra gold if you want to think of it that way because you're going to have a lot more health and a lot more armor. And Relic Shield, the Relic Shield line is the best 4-ward item out there. Also, because there aren't a lot of tanks being played in the top lane in the jungle right now in pro play, then having a tank, especially an initiator tank, in the support role is very valuable, or just some kind of initiator. That's why, like, if you see an enchanter sneak in, it's usually like Rakan, if you consider him an enchanter. because he can start fights, and that opens you up to play something like Kindred or like Kha'Zix or Lee or something like that. Yeah, I've tried Pyke support. He's very snowball dependent. Golden Days of Janna. I mean, Janna was fine. She was oppressive. I think they nerfed her too much with the shield nerf, the 18 seconds. I thought the other stuff was okay. Yeah, I mean, Janna's cool, but I don't mind playing other stuff too. I miss Rakan more because Rakan is really flashy. You know, he's fun to play, the engage. He's just so hard right now.
Quit flopping around.
Huh. Hey, no problem, Dark.
An enemy
Hey, cool, man. Thanks for coming out, Dark. Yeah, I get it. I don't know how many viewers he has, but I know it's tough to be a streamer out there, so
enemy has been slain.
it's all good. You watch clips of other supports playing? Yeah, mostly pro. I don't have time to watch a ton of League these days. Unfortunately, I spend so much time making content, and then I also teach. Hey, thanks for the sub, Dark Skills. I appreciate it. But I teach. I'm a family man. In theory, I should be working on my dissertation more. I have to do, like, you know, cleaning stuff, like clean the house, do laundry, take care of my daughter 3 days a week to save on daycare costs. I've got a lot of stuff going on. So unfortunately, I can't watch a lot. I listen. I like listen to The Dive and Hotline League and like patch notes from Freak, LS. Like I listen to a lot of League content, but I can't watch a lot of streams or standalone videos. But I'll listen while I'm like walking somewhere or cleaning stuff or whatever. Yeah, I just couldn't really react fast. I was too far away to bubble on that Zac engage. It was a good engage, but I don't... Was he 6? Or they flash out of his thing? I don't remember. I was hoping he would pull them back into us and then I could bubble him, but I don't remember if he was 6 or not. I was seriously talking about random stuff.
My people are counting on me.
They don't have their ults. I have mine, but... I think we maybe could have fought him there. We're still down in CS, which is depressing.
An ally
I've been trying to put out so much pressure this game. I'll just do it myself. Dude, don't even give me that sad face. I'm running the show for you, son. Alright.
An enemy has been slain.
Comment on a montage. I mean, if you want to do a coaching session, I do a coaching session, sure. But yeah, I don't really like do free commentary on stuff just because I wouldn't have time. Everybody would be hitting me up for that all the time. Well, it's reasonable. It's like 20 bucks for coaching. I think that's fair. Yeah, people want to watch ranked games. Though. I know people have asked before if I'll do like breakdowns of pro games and things like that. I mean, maybe for something really big like Worlds, but by and large, you know, the empirical data resoundingly says that people just want to see me play live games of ranked. Like, we always drop in viewership on Viewers Night where it's normals. We always drop in viewership whenever I do a coaching session or something else like that on stream, which I like doing that because I like, you know, helping people that are supporting the channel. I like to try to do stuff, you know, for that, to encourage people to try to support the channel. But, you know, just going in and just doing high level like VODs is something that I just don't think a ton of people would. There obviously would be some people that would really like it, but I feel like it would be a net negative. Once again, a lot of it's about time. Like, I have to be very efficient with my time. Like, I'm already really far behind on guides. Like, I have a ton of guides I need to be working on. I can't even keep up with those with my current work schedule. And those actually do bring in pretty good views. Like, the guides are pretty good in terms of views. And people donate for those, so... I need to catch up with all of those first, and I could maybe think about other content. But I also need to work on like video editing and things like that, you know. Like I need to do like video editing and end cards and just like I need to raise the production value of stuff too. So there's just like so many things I need to be doing on the channel that I just can't find the time to do. How'd she walk out of that? Did she flash? Who's winning? So Vlad is kind of winning top. Kennan's doing very well mid. But Akali's still dangerous, even if she's behind. Yeah, the topical guides are good. The champ guides, I mean. Damn, they got Ocean. That's really bad for us. She doesn't have arrow, but... No. They have a high pressure lane, and we're just not really like... I mean, Zach has tried to come down here and, you know, gank several times, so it's not for lack of effort, I suppose, but... I've got to get Moby Boots just so I can run back and try to stop the tower from dying.
Your turret has been
Who plays Cannon, though?
An ally has been slain.
Well, they got it, and she died anyways. I'll need Mobies for the rotations, though, at least. Cannon is kind of picking up a bit more steam in pro play. I think I can just pause this for a second.
An ally has been slain.
It's so close. Dude, get this wave, man! I saved it for you! Oh my god. Well, I just made it worse. We can make, like, Vlad's really fed. Vlad's like a super strong champ right now. No, that was a... Were they really pressuring mid that hard? I don't even think they were pressuring it, because everybody was at... I don't know. I think she should have gone bottom. Not playing Zyra. I mean, I play her into certain comps, but she's been nerfed, man. Like, a lot. Like, they nerfed Dark Harvest. They nerfed Ignite. They nerfed Electrocute. They buffed Enchanters. You know, they nerfed Zyra directly with her plants. The newest AI changes, from what I've heard, are a nerf. Because it's really buggy with different interactions. So it's not like I just randomly decided I don't like Zyra. Zyra's great. I love her. She's a lot of fun. It's just, she's just not as good as she was. So, like, in some matchups, sure. But, like, it's really hard to win against a Nami or a Sona that knows what they're doing. So they're just going to sustain through lane and then outscale you. Because she needs a lot of gold for her items. You know, it's like 3,000 gold for most of her items. Versus, you know, Asona, where it's like 2,100 for most of her items. So it's just a matter of math. Like, you have to really snowball hard early. And you've seen a lot of these 80 carries that we have lately. Like, that's another thing. The 80 carry meta has shifted. People aren't playing Jhin. People aren't playing Misfortune with the old school, you know, the Dark Harvest of the preseason and with, like, previous Ignites and stuff like that. You just can't apply as much pressure in the laning phase as you used to be able to. Both you and the 80 carry meta. So if you're just sitting there with Zyra, you know, and you have a Vayne on your team that just never auto-attacks the enemy like last game, and they just sit there and just AFK farm, you lose. Because you're not going to be able to kill them by yourself, most likely. It's going to be really hard. And if you don't, then you're really, really far behind. So that's the issue, is that the meta has changed from, like, super early pressure, especially at the 80 carry and the support role, to more of a... kind of scaling 80 carries. A couple of exceptions, you know, Draven's still around, he's good, like Lucian's still pretty good, like early game, but seeing a lot more Vaynes, a lot more Ezreals, that type of stuff also. And it's very dependent on like your 80 carry, like knowing what's going on. Okay, nice. It's a good engage. What can we get? Yeah, just get dragon. Just get dragon. Yeah, we probably should have used that somewhere, but we didn't really have a wave. I guess we could have immediately, instead of chasing them at blue, we could have just dropped it middle and probably gotten it immediately. Vlad's like, all middle now? Sweet. Let me just back. We missed the memo. It's like, yeah, we could have used that a little bit earlier, probably. We at least got a charge in there. It's better than nothing. It's better than it expiring, I guess. Yeah, we should have probably, she might arrow me. I gotta be careful. Or Sej might. Yeah, Sej's gonna ult me. Well, we did get bottom though. I guess that's all right. So yeah, I love Zyra, but you know, I'm a meta person for the most part. If something is, you know, I try to play something that's in the top 5 most of the time. With some exceptions, you know, if we have an all AD team, sure, I might. Oh, she took like 2 tower shots trying to kill me. I'm gonna hang out with Vlad. One more. Damn it. Pretty sure there was one over here. No. Trying to lock out all their vision while I can. Zach is a really cool champ. He does get a lot of assist. Like, he has, like, high uptime on his engages. Wait, why are we going back into this?
I still hear the song of the sea.
Hey, Shy Guy. It depends, man. It depends on,
My people are counting on me.
you know, what you enjoy to play. You know, I think there's a lot of good stuff out there. I think that overall, I'd say mid's probably, you can get something that's like easier to play and be effective on it in mid than top lane. I think top lane's probably one of the hardest roles to play right now because like all the best stuff are really high mechanical fighters. You know, you just can't really play tanks top. You can't play like utility champions top. Whereas I think you can still play stuff like Malzahar middle, or you know, if you're really proficient on it, you can still play things like maybe Orianna middle. She's not my favorite, but like it can work. You know, you can play stuff like Galio middle and still be all right, serviceable. You know, but, like I just think you can't. I mean, maybe Sion. It was they're gonna get Baron off that. It was a pretty bad fight because we just don't have. They have all the like initiation, and we were all cut off like over here. And Kennen blew his ult on something random, and they knew we were doing it. I mean, I guess at least we got it. But like 3 deaths, probably gonna be at least 4. Maybe. Okay. Well, they turned it around, so that ended up being worth 3 for 2, and we get Infernal. Yeah, that was, we just didn't have good vision of them, and we weren't really posturing to defend very well.
An ally has been slain.
I'm just gonna get another Fairy Charm here. I might actually need to get a McHale's or something. I mean, I guess you can play Morgana middle. She's not my favorite, but, like, it could work. Yeah, you can play utility stuff middle. So, you know, if you want to play top, you better be ready to play some, like, very high mechanical fighters. What is wrong with this champion? Like, why did they bring him back? I should have flashed something in there. I didn't think he was going to do that much. It's like double echoing flames, like 400 damage.
We are all tied to the ocean.
Kali's getting pretty fed. I mean, I guess Ashe has a garbage build. We do have a nice wombo combo with the Vlad, the Zac, and the Kennen. If we can get a good, clean 5v5 where we aren't inting. That's becoming increasingly difficult to come by. You push. We're about to get the slam. Morgoth's gonna cover it. We probably need a back. Yeah, Ashes. Yeah, those are some nice plays. Bad teleport by Kennen. Yeah, he's engaged on. I don't have ult either. Yeah, I didn't have ult for most of that until the very end there. I need to heal myself a little bit just in case Akali jumps this wall. Oof, it's a 62.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
99% sure they don't have any in this warded, but they do have Ad. This could be bad if they all show up here. They don't have Zac. I did want to get the forward item, but I'm just so rich, I need to get more scaling. What happened to Mord? Well, he's just a melee champ with no CC and like pretty much no gap closer. Like he needs a rework, but they know that they're working on him. He's just like the ultimate's really cool. It's just the rest of his kit is kind of a problem. I gotta walk around because of the Akali in the jungle. Okay, nice. Alright, we got it, good.
Has destroyed an inhibitor.
Quit flopping around.
Nice. Meta tryhards happen. I mean, people like to win. Damn, for real? I'm 46% on Nami in the last 30 days. For real? God, so bad. I was like 60% on her for the first like month. That's gross. I've had a really bad streak, but that's like that's a lot of that's 54 games. That's rough. Is that right? I mean, I did like you know, demote like 3 divisions or something last week. 2 division. Went from Plat 1 to Plat 3. Yeah, I'm 55% overall on her, but yeah, the last like 50-something games have only been 46%. So yeah, I was 60% for like the first 45 games. And then I'm like 46% on the next 45 games. And this says in the last 7 days I'm 52%. I mean, I don't know why Lolalytics would lie. I guess that's just a really bad cross-section. Is like the last week, pretty good. Overall season, pretty good. But last 30 days, pretty bad. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, Zach had some good engages there. I mean, you know, he did have a couple of questionable ones too, but I think overall there was a lot more good than bad. I mean, I had some questionable plays too. I died to the Urgot Under Tower when I should have flashed. I'll hit him up. What's his Twitch here? I might have to mute it. I don't want to get copyright strike, but I'll send him a follow. Sure. What is this? Oh, is that anti-follow? Turn notifications off. I think we'll turn the so I don't get pop-up notifications. We'll turn the notifications off, but I'll follow him. We'll watch his ad. Muted. Okay. So I'll throw him a follow. Really nice guy, super friendly. If you want to, if anyone wants to drop by there and shoot him a line or, you know, something like that, then that's great. If you want to hook him up, small-time streamer there. Seemed like a super friendly guy. He came in, super nice. Didn't have to do that. So we got to mute him because I don't want a copyright strike. So in case he's listening to music or something. But if y'all want to drop by there, I'll link his thing in the chat here. What is it? Okay, so we'll hook him up. Oh, there's his thing. We need more nice people in League of Legends. He was really nice. So that's cool. All right. Disenchant, disenchant. Yeah, Twitch does have a favorite and a notification thing. I need to probably move over to Twitch at some point. If I can, like, just roll up with, like, 100 people or something, that will probably get noticed a lot more than on YouTube. Then I could just put the highlights up on YouTube. I can dual stream on Twitch and YouTube, in theory, until I become a, I think when you're an affiliate, you can't do that. I wish they would make the threshold partner. But if you're a partner, apparently you can maybe negotiate your way out of that to where you can dual stream on multiple platforms, but... What's up, Nipple Milk? It's probably updated. I think that's just a really awkward, like, timing window. Like 30 days or something is just like really bad for me, but like the last week and since the season has begun, it's pretty solid. Hey, thanks, Flig. Glad I could send some people your way, buddy. How many do I have right now? I've got like 105.
Now,
Doing pretty
is
well.
the greatest.
Coming back up. I try to keep it in perspective because I used to get like 180 to 200 last year before they changed 80 carry around, and I think YouTube changed its algorithm around or something. So that was kind of You know, I'm always like, you know, we're only at 100, but like 100 is way better than most other streamers. Most people would kill somebody to have 100, so, you know, I try to be very thankful for what I have. Into Vayne. Maybe Lulu. We might end up dodging this one.
Pleased to meet you.
Hey, what's up, Franco? I teach critical thinking and persuasive writing at a major public university in America. It's basically like your English 101, 102 type of stuff, but the curriculum and I focus a lot more specifically on audience and how to persuade specific audiences using different rhetorical strategies. I banned Yi because I don't want to deal with him. Like, he's just a real pain in the butt. Like, he can be dealt with, but it really takes a team effort. And Yi is like a super popular booster also, and I don't want to... he just creates a lot of problems. Yeah, but... well, hold on. Let's see, Jinx does scale pretty well. We got more Morganite. Pretty good Kale. I guess we'll play this. They have kind of a scary team. I mean, I guess we're going to get a free lane with the Janna. I hate going up against Vlad. But... well, TF Blade, I haven't watched a lot of his stuff, but first of all, he's one of the best players. Like, you know, he's always a top 10. Yeah, he said, he came back in here and said he was really happy. I'm glad I could make his day. But, like, some people just blow up like that, you know? I haven't watched a lot of his stuff, but from what I understand, he's, like, kind of fun to watch. He has, like, a pretty good attitude, but he's extremely good at solo queue, and he plays very flashy champions. You know, he has relationships with a lot of other top-name people. He's, like, on a first-name basis with a lot of other top-name people, so, you know, if you get a lot of notoriety like that, I think, does he explain stuff pretty well while he's playing? I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, some people, especially if you're very top of Challenger and you have, like, a decent personality, you know, you can get a huge following pretty quickly. Not all Challengers and pro players have huge followings, so it's not just automatic if you're in the top, like, if you're a Challenger, you're going to have a good following. But, you know, that's certainly a step in the right direction. I mean, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of his stuff. But he's really well known on, like, very popular, flashy champions. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, he just has the right combination. Yeah, some streamers are just very quick. I mean, he probably had, like, a really good marketing campaign and things like that. We'll see. I'm pretty selective with duos. Like, that was a good game for, you know, for us and Flig. What was his, yeah, he was ranked 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you can do that, I mean, we could consider, I don't duo with very many people. Even, like, really good people, like, I don't usually have a very good win rate with them for whatever reason. Either I'm not focused up as much when I'm duoed, or they get nervous, or just some combination of the two. I can't explain it. Because anyone that's watched the stream for a long time will know that I usually don't have a super high win rate with duos, most duos. Hey, what's up, Symphonic? Well, you're in the right place, friend. Welcome. Yeah, so we do have the stream. It's every night starting around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Usually goes till about 1:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Might have to be a little bit short this stream. We'll see, because I do have a lot of papers I need to grade before tomorrow. And I'm going to stay up most of the night doing that and then just crash when I get home in the afternoon.
Minions have spawned.
But Yeah, so we stream every night. We also have tier lists. I do a support tier list for every single patch, like a real good in-depth tier list. Usually they're about an hour long. I'm trying to see if I can find a way to condense them, but I put a lot of information in there. I give you timestamps, so you can skip around if you don't have time to watch the whole thing. Just listen to your favorite parts. You know, there's not a lot of fancy visuals or anything, so you can just listen to it almost like a podcast or something in the background while you're eating or driving around or working out or something. Also do like a Google Doc for each one of those that gives you recommended runes, recommended items, kind of a little rating system I came up with, 1 through 5, on key metrics to, you know, think about champs. Talk about a meta overview. So yeah, really good quality tier list every patch, and I have individual guides for different champions. I have like 160 coaching sessions and still adding on more there. Topical guides like best one-trick champions, how to macro better, how to micro better, what is dodging, how does that work, should you dodge more, talking about luck in League of Legends, does it exist, how can you get around it. So lots and lots of good topical videos. So I just churn out like a million videos. I think we've got like 2,000 videos on the channel, which is way more stuff than anyone would ever watch probably. But yeah, especially if you're into trying to learn how to become a better player, you can definitely do it. Obviously, I'm not the best player in the world. You know, platinum right now. I got to low diamond in the preseason. But I think my background in education really helps me, like, express ideas in a way that are, like, easily understandable and actionable for a lot of players. Can I show up to that? I don't know if I can even show to that. I think they're just going to disengage. Yeah. I really didn't want to lose a lot of experience to do that. Lulu didn't get an assist, or Janna didn't get an assist on it though, so the Janna rotating didn't matter. I don't think. Janna lost a lot of experience off of that rotation too. Ivern's getting bullied. We got to watch out for... Hey, thanks, Symphonic. Yeah, and I try to be very conversational too, so if you have any questions during the stream, or even after stream, I try to answer most comments in the comments section. Sometimes when it's really busy and there's a lot of people on the stream talking, I may not be able to get to every question, but just repeat it when I'm on break if I didn't answer it and it's really important, and I'll do my best to get it. We picked Lulu here into Vayne. It's pretty good because Vayne's close range, so she's really susceptible to polymorph. Also, your E will reveal her when she's invisible. That's something a lot of people forget about with picks. Oh, I'm taking too much heat from the minions. You know, we need to be stepping up and bullying her. You gotta be careful when there are a lot of minions, though, because you get hit back by all of them. You don't have a lot of armor, obviously. Nice. Good. This Jinx is actually stepping up, helping me out here. So he zoned her off of the cannon, which is good. Janna wasted her shield on herself, so it was just open season on the Vayne there. We don't know where Shyvana is. Dragon spawned. Well, they got Dragon.
You have slain an enemy.
I mean, I did everything I could. We had to get priority first. We knew she was going to go for it, but I was the only one that was actually trying to defend it. It's so annoying on Blast Plant side also because she can just Blast Plant over and get in there pretty easily.
Yep. That tasted purple.
We're up like 10 CS, which is good, but yeah, I think they're gonna be here, right? Hey, thanks, Symphonic. Yeah, thanks for the kind words. I actually need to stay. I don't want to waste the experience. Let's see if I can freeze this too. I'm gonna have to get a couple of them. I can't full freeze that much. I can't hold that much. Yeah, it's... I mean, the red buff is nice, but, like, he's just missing some experience for it. Yeah, he missed, like, 2 or 3 minions. I don't know. I don't know. It's just a channel. I don't really know the name of the artist. I usually just listen to mixes of stuff. Unfortunately, I don't really know who most of the artists are these days. Usually listen to like lo-fi hip-hop or chill music or, you know, like jazz, you know, that type of stuff.
An enemy has been slain.
I don't listen to a lot of lyrical stuff, or not things that are like very heavy lyrical, because I'm usually doing other things while I'm listening to music. I'm like grading papers or researching for guides. We're really not up that much in CS. We really should be up more. I mean, Jinx does scale really well also, but she might be coming over soon. So Jinx did help out some, but it would have been nice if she pushed a little bit more. And some of my favorite ones started like adding in like a million different ads, like way too many ads. Like an ad every song or something on their playlist, which is really annoying. I don't mind listening to an ad before I like, you know, show up to something. But like one every song or every 2 songs is really annoying. Heh. I mean, I guess I should say non-vocal music rather than like... Jazz is not strictly just like background music. It's not like it's like Kenny G is like all jazz, you know? Like jazz can be very engaging, very interesting, you know, very energetic. But I listen to a lot of chill stuff.
You have slain an enemy.
Oof. Fizz go bot, I don't know, maybe. Like, they're all dead, basically. They're all, like, really low health. Don't get pinned into the wall, buddy. Oh my god, that was like the worst Vayne pin ever. He walked right in front of the wall. I'm really bad with music in general. I don't know the names of a ton of different musicians. My wife is very good with music. But she plays clarinet and saxophone. She did play, before we had our daughter, she played in a band quite often. But now the band leader has a daughter. We have a daughter. I think they have a son. It's due in May. He's due in May, I think. Anyway, she hasn't really been doing the music as much lately, but hopefully she can get back into it. I know she really loves it. I like it. She's very good. She was on scholarship at Clemson for music a long time ago. Yeah, we met at Swing Dance. I need a little bit more gold. Actually, I can sell my Fairy Charm and get it. I'm going to go ahead and buy while they're buying. She plays sax and clarinet.
Yep, that tasted purple.
I think this Janna's account sharing. I mean, she's played like a standard Janna to me. I don't know. I haven't really noticed, like, oh my god, that's bad or that's good. I mean, I don't think she's doing okay. I mean, maybe you guys noticed something I didn't. We got that Infernal, which sucks, but like Windrake is actually pretty good for us too, especially for rotations. God, Kale is getting obliterated top lane though. Nice, cool, Miles. Music therapy, that's awesome. Yeah, I had someone writing about that last semester. I didn't even know that was really like a major, you know, major new field, but apparently it is, so that's cool. I've always liked music a lot. I've just never been that great at it. That was kind of a wasted fish there. I'm gonna take this opportunity to try to get some more wards down.
An enemy has been slain.
That's always a nice little trick there. If you can hit that dust, it'll at least reveal where the raptor timer. Okay, so they don't have any wards around there. Okay, I have Ardent. They do not, so we should be able to win, I think. Fizz is hurting my soul. Yeah, that was questionable. Fizz is a little more questionable, but I haven't seen anything where it's like, wow, that person's boosted. I mean, it's just kind of standard, you know, mistakes. But I haven't seen anything egregious. You want to get 3 points of shield for lane and then max your W, because your W is really like most of your kit. Damn, I thought we got her somehow. I was like, how? Yeah, I think we can bow up on him and just beat him. My buffs are way stronger than Janna's are for like small skirmishes like this. Polymorph is just so strong against Vayne, and you know, my ultimate is really strong early in the game too, before she has a lot of plus healing and shielding. I think we go ahead and get this. Well, I don't know, against Vlad. No. We need to. Get that dragon. Jesus, it takes Iron so long to do anything.
Rampage.
Okay, good. No, Kale, don't TP. What? I'm low on mana. Didn't have enough for ult. I had to use my E. But I felt like I needed to buff up the Jinx. That's one bad thing about taking Arden early is, like, you don't have a lot of mana regen, but Arden's just so good on Lulu because you get to double down. Ooh, I forgot that. Tower's even there. Because it doubles down on the power of your W. So Arden is extremely good on her. Why Vayne all in? They thought they could beat us. They just underestimated Lulu's polymorph. I mean, they were healed up. Like, I was low on mana. We were low on health, but she just miscalculated. I mean, Lulu doesn't get played a ton, so she's probably not used to just how, like, brutal that polymorph is if you don't have Quicksilver Sash. It's like a Fiddlestick Sphere. Like a 2.25 second stun, effectively. I mean, you can, like, waddle around a little bit, but you're not doing anything. I know. I needed to buy, but there's just so much clowning going on there. I wanted to help Jinx get that tower. So that's always kind of like a question, you know, like, should you buy when your team's in like a high tempo situation where you like have an opportunity to get a tower or something else? It's like, sometimes yeah, sometimes nah, you know. We lost out on. Oh, they got ripped anyways. Huh. Well, I just know Kenny G is like the most renowned, you know, kind of troll musician. I don't know. Kenny's doing his thing, man. Like, I've dated a lot of musicians. I don't know why. I dated a flute player in high school. I dated another saxophone player in college. I dated a percussionist in college. I think almost every major girlfriend has been a musician. Almost literally every single one. It's been like a major, like, I dated them for longer than, you know, a month. And I always do that just to troll them. I'll be like, I think Kenny G's awesome, you know? And they're like, oh my god. Easy listening, man. I don't know. She did go Triforce. I know some people have been talking about Triforce Kale. I'm not convinced by that build, but, you know, maybe they know something I don't. I mean, you can throw almost anything on Kale. When you do, like, AoE true damage at level 16, you can get away with a lot of goofy stuff. harem band. No, just one at a time. I just like, I'm kind of drawn to creative people in general. And musicians are usually pretty creative people, so. Never been the type of person that would, there's nothing wrong with being like an accountant or something like that. I just don't think, and musicians are often drawn, I find, to creative people also. Not always, once again, but that's just what I've seen. So like, a little more like down with someone doing something like education or wanting to go to grad school for English. It's not going to make a lot of money. And for a lot of, you know, for a lot of the girls I dated, I fancied myself to be like an aspiring writer. Like I wanted to be a fiction writer and things like that. And, you know, just a lot of girls that are going into like accounting or engineering or that type of stuff are just not going to be like, I feel like just as a stereotype, they're going to be less okay with guys that are doing creative stuff. Not always, but it's that whole birds of a feather thing. Like they're going to probably be more interested in it. But that's not always true. I mean, my friends' parents, like, you know, one of them is an accountant, one of them is a photographer, you know, so maybe that's just my experience. I didn't date them specifically because they were musicians, but that's just something that they kind of did on the side. Jana's profile. Did I look this game up? How significant are general champion win rates? Well, it just depends. I mean, I think it's something to definitely pay attention to. But you got to also remember that's over a very broad population. Why? I mean, she just wins and loses games sometimes. A lot of Vlads. Yeah, I mean, just the fact that she's been playing a lot of support the last day or so, and then before that, she's playing a lot of Vlad. And maybe she's got autofill. Maybe she's got bored. I don't know. But, I mean, it matters to an extent, but it's just like a guideline. You know, you don't always have to play the champions with the highest win rates, but, like, it's definitely something to take note of if it's something that's really outside of the norm. Wait, what? Oh, that's an iron. It's like, why is Aurelian's soul, like, so high? As a support. So, like, when you see stuff like, you know, Sona, Nami, Soraka, Janna, like, when you see something like 4 enchanters, like, all at the top in terms of overall win rate, each with, like, or most of them with really high pick rates, like, it kind of tells you enchanters are super strong. And then Morgana's the other one who's basically an enchanter. And when you see a lot of the peeler tanks kind of down near the bottom, you know, Thresh is probably the highest one with like 51.5. He's sort of a special case. Then when you see stuff like Braum, Shen, Galio, Tom Kench, Ornn, that type of stuff, all floating around 48%, you know, just notice trends and stuff like that. So, you know, that doesn't mean you have to play an enchanter, but it's just to be aware of that and just to say, hey, you know, if I'm going to play, I better be able to beat enchanters with whatever my strategy is. So it's just, you know, you don't have to play the stuff, but you got to have an answer for it. You got to know, okay, everyone's playing that. So like Leona's a good example of that. She doesn't have the highest win rate overall, but she has actually fallen a little bit on this patch. But overall, she's like a decent pick into your Namis and your Sonas and stuff like that. Zyra still like, and Fiddle are still like all right as AP supports. Okay, let me refill my drink really quick, and then we'll get back at it. Yeah, so, I mean, one thing to keep in mind just in terms of psychology, a lot of what it boils down to is, like, people think, like, oh, can I go off-meta stuff? Not everybody, obviously, but people who are asking about the off-meta stuff, they always, like, see these exceptions, and they take the exceptions for the rule. And, you know, also, equally as important, they think they can be the exception. I forgot the psychological, like, study or rule for this. There are probably a lot of these, but almost everybody thinks they're above average, especially in, like, Western countries, like in the United States and Europe and stuff like that. You know, if you ask people, are you better than the average person at doing this or that? Everyone thinks they're better than average about stuff. Like, almost nobody's going to think they're average. And it's the same kind of stuff in League of Legends. Like, nobody wants to think, oh, well, those statistics don't apply to me. I can play, you know, this random stuff that no one else is good with, and I can be really good with it. It's like, well, maybe, but over large numbers, you know, you're probably going to be about the same as everybody else. So it doesn't mean that you have to play exactly that, but it's just keep that in mind that, like, those are the major, you know, just look at the top 5, top 10 champions in terms of win rate. Look at play rate, you know, stuff that has, like, less than a 1% play rate. You can kind of throw that out. But that's just something, the Dunning-Kruger, yeah, that's just something to keep in mind, is that often we're not quite as good at stuff as we think we are. And I'm guilty of this too. I mean, evolutionarily and culturally, it's beneficial to be overconfident with stuff, because that gets you to take risks, and that creates innovation, which is really good, sort of like, you know, just in terms of society as a whole. Even if a lot of people fail doing it, like, you want large populations to end up taking, like, a healthy amount of risks. Obviously, there's, you know, limitations to that, but it's a lot of people that are very successful are overconfident in their abilities, or they were, at least in some part of their career, and they took risks based on that.
The greatest enemy.
There's actually a study recently that one of my academic friends, I don't want to go too far with this, too politically far with this, but he was, you know, a very, like, very left, like, super liberal academic guy who is a grad school colleague of mine. He posted up this study. I didn't actually read the whole thing, but based on sort of his summary of it, is one of the more interesting things recently, you know, with people that are exploring, well, why do women get paid less than men and all this stuff. And of course, there are all the structural arguments, well, there's discrimination, this and all that. Don't want to go into that. But one interesting finding that this study was suggesting that he put up there was that men are a lot more likely to be overconfident and to overrepresent their skill set than women are in large numbers. So basically, men are not outright lying about stuff, but they'll say, you know, a job might say something like, do you have these credentials? Can you do this? Can you do this in sales? Can you do this or that? And they'll say, yeah, of course I can do that, you know, and they'll be like, have minimal experience. Whereas it was arguing that gender-wise women a lot of times will doubt it more, and they'll say, I don't know if I have that skill set, or I don't know if I can do that as much, or I shouldn't even put that down, you know, my application, because I don't think I'm quite as good at it. And so basically, you know, the article, or the way that the guy was putting it, was men just bluff their way up to positions of leadership a lot of times without even though women often, a lot of times there will be women applicants with similar qualifications, the men will just bluff their way up higher. But anyways, I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole, but I thought that was a very interesting interesting theory that posed. But yeah, so just keep that in mind, that a lot of times, you know, the general gist is that people will be that's part of it too, Tricky. Although I do think that being agreeable can actually be a really good trait, depending on how you do it. Because networking is so important. If people like you, if people think you're like a good person to work with, then, you know, you can get places. So I think that agreeable can be good if you're also proactive, if you're also willing to, like, bluff sometimes and sort of, like, really represent yourself to the fullest, even sometimes over-represent yourself. It can be good. The problem is, like, the agreeableness thing often can go with a certain amount of passivity and not taking initiative. Yeah, that's the same thing, Service. I think that's all part of the same thing, is where it's like a lot of these studies are all circling back to the thing of, like, taking initiative, trying to overrepresent yourself to an extent, overestimating your abilities and taking risks. And I think that's something that culturally men are trained to do a lot more, especially from a young age. It's changing, but I think that that is definitely, all of these are kind of getting at the heart of the same kind of stuff. Sort of, yeah. I mean, that's right, Max. And I mean, if you want to get back to biologically too, that's what a lot of like the alpha male type of stuff, you know, evolutionarily, those are the guys that got the girls, you know, were dudes that took risks, went out, you know, did some risky stuff, and those are the guys that got the girls a lot of times. The alpha male type of stuff. But anyways, the moral of the story there is, you know, circling back to what we were originally talking about, is that you don't have to play champs that are at the very top. Just understand like what the meta is, and if you're not going to play those champs, you need to have a very good solution to them. Like, okay, I think I've got something, and it's possible to figure out stuff that other people haven't figured out. Totally possible, but just keep in mind also that most of like the statistical stuff, most of like what a lot of people are doing is probably correct. But there's some stuff, yeah, you can be a little wacky. I mean, I said that Draven with Klepto would actually end up being really good when they nerfed Conquer. People didn't think about that for a couple of patches, but then it came out, and it ended up being really strong. I said that Bork plus Gensu's was probably the best build on Kayle. A lot of the consensus is moving towards that now. Like, I predicted a lot of stuff that wasn't really, like, hype in the meta. I mean, I'm wrong about stuff, too. I thought that tanks would come back after they nerfed Conquer, but it wasn't quite enough for most tanks to come back. So I wasn't right about that one, but at least some tanks. Like, I expected to see more Sejuani in the jungle. But hey, that's exactly right, Sammy. Hey, I mean, I think almost all people that are in positions of leadership at some time have had to buff a little bit, you know? I had to, like, teach my wife this. I mean, she's an introvert also, but she's very good at her job, and I was just like, you're severely underrepresenting what you can do at this job. I was like, you're very valuable, because she was having to go in, because she's like, well, my boss said he would review my salary, you know, like 3 months ago, and he hasn't done it. I'm like, go up and demand it. I'm like, just say, look, I'm a very valuable asset to this company. I've done this, I've done that. I've helped grow, you know, your sales in this area and that area. Went in there and did that, got a raise. And she was very unhappy at one of her jobs, you know, like 8 years ago that she was in. She felt like she was trapped. I was like, look for another job. Found another job, got a 25% pay increase. So, you know, I think that doing that is just part of being a professional. Because some of it, like a lot of places, they don't even care if you have the skill. They like the swagger. They like the confidence. They like that you're trying to go in there and do stuff, even if you can't, like, do it perfectly. Most places would rather have someone that's taken some risks, trying to grow the market, trying to grow the sales, you know, making the big play, rather than, you know, someone who is just trying to play it safe, play it by the books. In most fields, not in all fields, but I mean, I had a department head at a university that I went to straight up told me, like, I asked him something akin to that. Is there like a certain kind of like paper y'all write? Because he was helping me like write my application to get into master's school, and like, you know, certain GPAs and grades and things like that. And he said, more than anything, we're looking for like bold ideas. We're looking for someone who's going to come in, try to innovate. You know, he's like, we don't care as much about grades, or, I mean, he's like, it matters a little bit, but we're much more interested in like the statement of purpose and like the essay, and just that it's bold, that it's ambitious, that it's not just trying to play it safe. And I'm sure there are a lot of, you know, positions that are like that. Now, not all, you know, if you're like a safety person, you know, people probably want you to play it by the books. If you're a safety inspector, you know, they don't want you doing anything bold. They want you to say, no, that building is not up to code. Like, fix it. They don't want you to say, oh, let's wing it. It might fall down, but whatever. Let's just roll with it. It can save us 10%. It's like, no. So that it's not in every field, but anything that has to do with other people, usually like sales, that type of stuff. It's very important. That's what I try to teach my students in class all the time too, and it's something that's not taught in high schools, and it sucks because that's really like one of the major keys to success is like innovation. That's why I tell them in their essays, I'm like, do something bold, like have an argument. You know, I was like, I don't want a book report. I don't, you know, it's nice if you read it, but I just want you to say something interesting about it. You need to think of yourselves as like aspiring professionals, because everyone has Google, everyone can find out general information. But they want you to tell them a story. They want you to tell them something interesting and cool. They've never heard about this topic before. They want you to get them fired up about it, you know? And that's what I try to teach them. They just do not teach innovation in high schools. And that's like the most important thing for professionalization in most fields. Especially a lot of them are going into business. Like no one wants a boring ad campaign, you know, that someone has, that a company's already been doing for 30 years. They want the next new thing. They want the big stuff. So I try to teach them that, but well, I think what Sarah said wasn't too political. I think what she's saying is right. That was kind of like what I was getting at, is that I think a lot of women are taught to be a little more passive, and I think most women would agree with that. Growing up, they are taught not to take as much risk or initiative, to play things safe. I think that's a disservice. And I think that's changing in recent times, but I think, you know, that certainly has been something that, certainly one of those things that I think most people are very aware of. But yeah, I think we've done a good job of navigating this without getting too political. Hey, what's up, Daniel? But yeah, it can apply to males. It can, but I think that as far as, once again, there are all sorts of exceptions. There are very alpha women out there, for sure. There are very passive men, just over large populations. I think these are like general trends that are useful for kind of understanding, like, well, how do we, you know, try to create a more like fair system, right? That it is a thing that's probably rooted somewhat in biology, although I try not to do too much in biology and the sexes. I know it's definitely there evolutionarily, but I think there's a lot of evidence for that as well. But I think a lot of it's cultural too. I think you could get around the biology if, you know, people encourage girls to take more risks out there. That's why with my daughter, if she's doing something stupid and like risky, then I'll let her do it. I think, you know, a big part is we don't like to see girls get hurt as much also. Like, if a boy falls and bangs his head doing something stupid, it's like, okay. But, like, girls, I don't know. People just feel the need to protect them more. I don't know. That's why I let my daughter climb on stuff sometimes a little bit more. Like, my wife was very, like, anti, no, do not climb on this, do not climb on that. I'm like, you know, if she falls from that height, it's really not going to hurt her that much. And I want her to go and explore some, to take on some risks, you know? Fall down a little bit, bump her head. What the hell do you want, dude? Like, we don't have priority. But, anyways. Does Draven lag out? Why did Draven not go in on that? I think Draven could have killed me if he stepped out there. Pepe hands.
An enemy has been slain.
I think women in general, though, are like, the trend is women are a lot better with people, though, and women are a lot better at, like, detail-oriented stuff. But that's, you know, once again, a huge generalization. But I think that overall women have a lot of strengths. It's just, like, one of the biggest things for, like, success is risk-taking. For the kinds of jobs that are, like, available these days, like the really nice jobs, but anyway, just an observation. I didn't want to go too far down that rabbit hole. You know, the main thing, circling it back, was just to think that everybody, like, is not the special person that can play some weird champion and get to challenger. There are people that do it, but to just think realistically about your abilities and just what is your goal playing the game. You know, do you want to climb as much as possible? If so, yeah, you should heavily consider the champions that are really strong in a given meta. You know, if you're just trying to have fun, you know, play whatever you want. Hot pocket. That was a really good play by Xayah. Xayah's doing well this game. Yeah, let's go ahead and get boots here. Oh, that's true too, Service. Huh. Yeah, I am speaking just of the West. It's very different in different cultures around the world. And, you know, each person's different too. That's why I really don't like to go too far into generalizations. But if you're starting to think about public policy and, you know, social trends and things like that, you got to think of larger populations. But anyways, I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole from where we've already gone. I think we've had a good discussion so far, but at the same time, I don't think we want to risk that too much. Damn it. Okay, well, he ended up dying for it. I didn't have my flash for 4 seconds. That was too risky. Let's get a couple of control wards. I think I'll be fine here. Guy Fiery. To a cook-off girl Fiery? Or is there someone else named Guy Fiery? There was a subscriber on the channel who's girl Fiery.
An ally has been slain.
Damn, we could have gotten Dragon instead of goofing around. I'm just drinking some chocolate milk. A little chalky. But yeah, that's part of why I try to get my daughter to take risks. You know, get in a little trouble sometimes. I'm sure I'm gonna love that decision when she's a teenager. Yeah, I haven't seen Girl Fiery. I don't know. I don't know, Ups. Maybe playing other games, doing other stuff.
Turret plating will fall soon.
Miss fine. Actually, I need to sell some stuff here and go ahead and complete this items. It's a really big item spike. So I know I lost like some efficiency there. I probably lost like 70 gold, but I really need to complete this item. I mean, that's probably that's true to some extent. I don't know Saudi Arabian culture that well, but it was that way in the West for a while too. It's changed a little bit, but I think there's definitely still some of that going around. Who's here? Okay. The old new guy. Damn, when did they get... Oh, they got first dragon a while ago. Damn it, I didn't get the last auto in there. Oh, we're getting crushed in here. Yeah. Athene's greater than Ardent on Nami and Sona first. Just gives too much extra healing, and they scale really well with the AP. On Lulu, I get Ardent first because she doesn't scale as well with AP, and she doesn't need the mana as much. Nah, I've never used drugs. Wow, I thought we had that in the bag. He didn't even have any crit. What the? How did he do so much damage so early? Alright, thanks, Sammy. Thanks for coming out, buddy. I appreciate it.
Shut down.
Okay, we got a shutdown. I did miss that cannon experience. I maybe should have stayed for that. But I can get Mobies and get back there pretty quickly.
My quest beckons.
Okay, they didn't get much out of it. Yeah, that Draven flash in the bush. Did he have 1%? It looked like he hit really freaking hard. I don't think you can have 1% crit anymore. They did away with those runes a long time ago. It was that stun.
Swim against the current.
Oh my god! Jesus. I think Zach is getting pretty good in the jungle. Maybe he's the tank that we deserve. He's the tank that we need. He has a bad matchup into Thresh and Janna, but Janna's still kind of popular, but I've always liked Zach as a tank if you're good on him. Maybe he is the one that can, the chosen one. His ganks are just so massive. His engage is just so intense. I mean, maybe if I stuck in there, we could have done it. I thought it was going to be pretty risky, though. We might be screwed here. Okay, well, at least I got him to flash. Yeah, we overstayed, like, real hard there.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
I mean, Nunu's pretty good too, and he's a tank.
Your turret has been destroyed.
So Swani's still kind of in a fairly weak spot, I think, but... Athene's effectively gives you, it's something like 30 to 50% plus healing and shielding, plus a ton of AP. Like, that's why it's so good. I do the math in my tier list video, especially, like, from a couple of patches ago. was delayed. I'm all about to die for this. It's not worth it, man. Like, why? Just get it later. He wants that tower so badly, but now we're giving him a dragon for a tier 2 that was already really injured. And we could have just had dragon for free. I can do it tonight if you're still around, Sammy. I can do it after this game if you want. I know you said you had to roll out. I can do it either tonight or tomorrow, whatever works best for you. I've got to head out here. I can either do one more game or I can do the coaching after this one. Because I got to grade a bunch of essays. Yeah, that is interesting, Zakar. I don't know. I mean, it is very complicated. Especially, yeah, when you start thinking of, like, trans and that equation and that type of stuff. I mean, it was a terrible fight, like... Yeah, so because we overstayed bottom, they actually got Baron instead of Dragon. I'm about out of mana. I don't even think. Just back up. I can't wait an hour. I don't think. If we can do it tomorrow, that'd be great. I know I've been putting it off for a couple of days here, but I really need to like probably get off around like 1 or 1:30 at the latest. Just because I have a lot of grading to do, and I really need to make sure I get this done. We're already at almost 3 hours. If we wait an hour and then I do one more, like the coaching after that, it's probably an hour and a half. So that would put us at like 4.5, 5 hours. And I have a minimum of 7 hours of training, somewhere between like 7 and 9, probably realistically. Wait, what the... Okay, Draven's bot. Can Kayle kill him? Nope, not even close. Nunu's probably going to be able to hold this too. How long? Xayah is almost up. I guess we can trade inhibitors, maybe. she can't take him either. So we're just gonna trade inhibitors, basically. I should have rotated back. They didn't need me for that. And I could have helped defend our inhibitor. Xayah should be able to beat him, but she cannot.
Quit flopping around.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, what's up, Grey Graves? Yeah, we'll get it tomorrow for sure. I should have all the grading done by tomorrow. I can't stop this. Well, yeah, I can. They're all gonna back, which it looks like they are. I don't want to walk there in case Zed's sitting there. Yeah, we need to do something though while Draven's dead. At least get this.
Swim against the current. Ew, whale breath.
Nice, Amir. Yeah, I'm not against you. Ask me about like drugs and stuff. I'm not against people who do like moderate, recreational, non-hyper addictive drugs. You know, if you smoke a little weed or something, fine. You know, that's fine. But it's like the heroin and all that, the coke, all that stuff is that's really bad. No, I don't ride a motorcycle. You asked me the car I've driven before, man. I told you it was a Mazda. If you had to get someone to know you by answering one question, what would he, she have to ask? Hold on, that's kind of worded weird. I'll have to think about that. The kind of question someone would ask me to get to know me best. Wait on that wrong shield. I think we just run him over here. Okay.
Your turret has been destroyed.
No, I don't ride. No, I don't know. Huh. Oh, have I ever ridden a motorcycle? I rode on the back of one once when I was like a teenager. Doing some math in my head. So we got 7 hours of grading, like 1 hour of emails and calculations, 8 hours, and then I have to take Rory to daycare and back, and then drive out to campus. That's really close. I think I probably better go ahead and call it there at 3 hours. So sorry, that's kind of a light stream here. Usually I do 4 hours. I think 3 hours because tonight. I didn't say I liked Kenny G. I was trolling. I said Kenny G. I don't think he's terrible. I mean, but I don't like him. I don't listen to Kenny G. A question that would, I don't know, to know me that well. Express who I am. What is happiness, maybe? I don't know. Something like that. Titanium Tiger. I mean, you don't have to change just because someone wanted you to, but that's okay, I guess. Anyways, I think that's a good place to stop. We won. We're positive for the night, right? I think we're positive 2 games. 1 game. Might be positive 1 game. But yeah, I have like 8 hours, like 7 hours of grading, 1 hour of like compiling stuff and emailing out grades to students, and then yeah, we're 3-2. We did get to play, what, 4 different champions? It's pretty good. 4 out of 5 games, different champs. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thanks for tuning in. I will finally get to catch up with some of these guides, hopefully. I was hoping to do them this weekend, but we had a bunch of family and friends and things like that in the area. Happiness is found in the act of finding. I think that's very true, Gray. I think it's all about the process rather than the results. I think the results are almost always worse than the journey. The seeking is always the best. Huh. It's the kindest thing I've ever done for somebody. I don't know. I have to think about that. I set one of my friends. So, like, one thing that I did was I knew there was this really cute, cool girl at work, but I was already, you know, dating my wife. And I set them up on basically a blind date. They came out with him, and I was telling her, hey, I've got this really cool guy. You need to, like, come check him out. And then we all went out to a bar. I could tell just she and I were the only people that were, like, left. She, I, and him. There had been a couple of other people, but they, like, bounced out earlier. And they were kind of, like, I could tell she was getting really into him. You know, she was trying to kiss him at the bar and stuff like that. And then she's like, hey, you guys want to come back to my place? We can have a couple more drinks and, like, you know, watch this movie or whatever. Then I said, oh, yeah, sure. And then, like, while we were driving over there, I just made up, like, I got this text from my friend whose girlfriend just jumped him, and he was very sad. And I was like, oh, dude, I got to go see him. He's just, like, a couple of buildings down. Just drop me off there. And then they dropped me off, and he's like, you sure, dude? You don't want us to wait? I'm like, no, I'm fine, man. Y'all go ahead. It's all good. And then, like, once they got out of sight, I just, like, jogged home probably, like, 6 miles. Jogged, like, 6, because I didn't want to be the cock block, man. I didn't want to be the awkward third guy there. Just let them do their thing, you know? So that's probably one of the nicest things I've done is, like, set this whole thing up, went out, and then ran home, like, buzzed at like 3 in the morning, like ran 6 miles home. That was when I was in much better shape. I was in my mid-20s. But yeah. So that's what jumps out to me as a really nice thing that I've done, but there could be other things I'm not thinking of. But that was one of the first things that seemed to me like I really dramatically inconvenienced myself to make a couple other my friends happy. And then they ended up dating for a couple years. It didn't work out. They're very similar in many ways, but they're kind of different in other ways. And yeah, I'm still friends with both of them. I haven't really talked with her in a while. She was just getting really busy in her life, and it was difficult to keep up with her, sort of. But I did keep up with her for years, and he's still one of my best friends. He's been my best friend since like 1st grade. So I hooked him up. But, yeah. And then I told them that story later. They're like, dude, you didn't have to do that. I was like, you know, I did it. You know, I needed to jog off those beers. So, yeah, I've tried to do that. I've hooked some people up before. But that was probably my most legendary hookup. I mean, I gave it, well, this isn't like as dramatic, but there was a student that had a really bad family situation, and she just wasn't doing a lot of stuff like near the end of the semester, and I gave her an incomplete instead of failing her when she would have failed, and most other professors would have failed her. I gave her an incomplete, so then she has like another semester to finish up her work, but that's not like super epic or anything. It's just like, hey, I could tell like her behavior changed a lot in class. I could really tell she was going through some stuff. And so I just, you know, gave her an extension at the end of the semester, but that's not like, I don't know. I guess that's pretty nice, but it's not as epic of a story as the other one. Just like my engagement thing was pretty fun too. Like I faked like I was going to work. And like I faked like I was going to work on a Friday as usual. And then I came back. My wife was just working on the house, or she was my girlfriend at the time, was just working on the house. And I came back in a suit, and I was like, get in the car. And then she got in the car, and she's like, what are we doing? I was like, it's a surprise. And then I had her put on a blindfold. I took her out to one of the nicest restaurants in town. We had a really good dinner, and then I took her to like this like pretty classy like ball where they were doing like a dance. And it was a pretty wasn't like super expensive to get in, but it was pretty ritzy. It was mostly old people, and we were out there dancing and having a lot of fun all night, doing some swing dance and stuff. A lot of the crowd really loved us. Like the dude on the mic pointed us out, like, special thanks to the young couple out there that's like really, you know, really enjoying themselves. And then I had some of my like my close friends show up. And then I had this one dude that we knew from dance that was a photographer, like, roll up and take like some secret pictures while we were dancing, because he just like randomly showed up places and took pictures at the time, so it wasn't anything like too unusual for him to be around taking pictures. And then I engaged, and she accepted there. And then the people that were there gave us some complimentary like wine or something that they had. They didn't know we were gonna do that, but everyone was like clapping. So it was pretty cool. I mean, that was a pretty cool engagement, I think. Very random, like kind of a surprise. Later on, she said she knew when I showed up in the suit and we were going to a nice dinner. She's like, we don't go out to fancy dinners all the time. So we do stuff like that sometimes, but it's rare. So she kind of had a feeling. And she'd been like dropping hints like, hey, might be a good idea to she left me like a, I don't know, left me something like some like random thing laying around that said what her ring size was, and she was talking about like, I don't know, she was dropping all kinds of hints. But anyways, I think that one was pretty cool too. So I don't know, I've got some fun stories, but I would love to go over just old man stories all night, but I gotta go grade these essays. That'll be fun too. Students have some interesting projects going on. But we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I need to do more romantic stuff like that. Like it's I don't know. I guess it's not harder to do. I just need to find time to do it. I've kind of, I don't know. I just get caught up in my routine. I do so much stuff like daily, just all sorts of stuff. But I need to make some time to go out and do something fun and romantic. It does get harder when you're older. You're a kid. I've got all these different projects I'm working on. You got channel, school, other stuff, but. I need to do some more. I need to make some more fun stories. Most of my fun stories are like older, like, at least 8 years ago. So I need to make more fun stories now, damn it. So maybe I'll try to do that some more. But anyways, that's going to be it. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like the stream if you enjoy it, if you have a good time. Some of my random old man stories, or like the gameplay, or, some of the teaching that I try to put out there to help you become a better player, any of that stuff, be sure to like and subscribe. Check out the rest of the content on the channel as well. We have a lot of guides, tier lists, coaching sessions, all sorts of stuff. Be sure, go through, check it all out, leave that like and subscribe. You can follow me at the Strat Prof on Twitter if you want. I'll announce whenever I release a new guide or whenever I start the stream. And yeah, that's going to be it. I'll see you tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great day.